Errol Spence, Keith Thurman at 154. Why so much hate? Is this a pay-per-view worthy fight? What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Cardinal Red Sports. Let's talk about it. Alright, so Errol the True Spence Jr. is taking on Keith One Time Thurman coming up in April. And a lot of backlash coming from this decision by Errol Spence Jr. And I just wanted to break down my thoughts on why I think people are a little disgruntled with this fight. A lot of people have waited a long time to try to get the undisputed fight, invested a lot of energy in promoting that fight, and now that Errol Spence has decided to go in a different direction, I think it's definitely broken a lot of people's heart as boxing fans. I think it's definitely left a lot of people a little disheveled. I think people are wondering why Boots isn't getting this shot. You know, there are other credible fights out there for both of those guys to be making, Errol Spence as well as Terence Crawford. But for some reason, the fans keep getting screwed out of the best fights, and we keep getting forced into what are the equivalent of tune-up fights now. You know, a David Anese Terence Crawford fight 5 years ago would have been an amazing tune-up fight. Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman 5 years ago would have been an excellent fight. You know, it would just have been a different level of fight 5 years ago. Now you have guys like David Anese and Keith Thurman. David Anese at the tail end of his career. Keith Thurman at the tail end of his career and has been inactive for nearly 5 years. And I think that should say it all to people who's wondering why there's a backlash about this. Keith Thurman hasn't been in a boxing ring actively in 4.5 years. He's had one fight in nearly 5 years. So, I mean, you should completely understand the disappointment in boxing fans. You should completely understand why fans are not accepting this as a great fight or as something they really want to watch, you know. And then if they jack the price of that pay-per-view up, I think they're really going to have a backlash similar to Crawford and Anese. You know, there could definitely be a similar backlash to this. Now, is this as bad as Crawford and Anese? In no way is it as bad of a fight as that, but mentally, and the fact that people have been waiting so long to see Crawford and Spence get it on, it is pretty bad because, once again, there are other credible guys out there Errol Spence could be fighting and defending his titles against. Not to mention the fact that Errol Spence hasn't defended the IBF in so long is kind of ridiculous at this point, you know, especially the situation that's going on with the IBF. It shows and it's proven that boxing is really, really corrupt. There's something wrong going on behind the scenes of boxing, and the fact that this is an in-house fight should say something else. You know, it should tell you something else. It should show you what the situation really is in boxing, that the promoters control the sport, that money pretty much controls the sport. The best fights are not really what the sanctioning bodies want to make or what the promoters want to make. And I don't even think the fighters care anymore as long as they're getting their high paydays. And once again, I bring it back to the Mayweather effect. You know, Mayweather proved that you can get higher dollars for easier fights, and this has just been the model everybody's been running with ever since. Now, is the hate necessary? Is the hate going to open some people's eyes and perhaps change the sport of boxing? Is the backlash going to have is it going to be a cause and effect with the backlash of what's going on? You know, to be honest with you, I don't think the people behind the scenes care at this point. I think the whole Terence Crawford situation, I think they feel like they wasted a lot of time and a lot of money, and at this point they're going to make the decisions that are financially lucrative to them. You know, it's all about return on your investment, I think, at this point, especially after what happened at the end of 2019 and 2020 with the situation in the world. And I think they lost so much money then. And, you know, you had the whole Terence Crawford situation in 2022. I don't think they really want to invest a lot more time in losing money. You know, I just don't understand why you would pass over Boots, why you would pass over Vergil Ortiz, why you would pass over Rashad Ellis, why you would pass over Standonis. You know, why are these guys being passed over? It's not like these fights couldn't have been made if you wanted to make them. You know, you guys are the champions. You can make any fight that you want to fight. And the fact that both sides, you know, it's not just Terence Crawford. You know, Errol Spence has proven as well he'll go against his own word. I get it in a way, but in a way, like, it's like, man, you're the unified champion of the world. You're supposed to be setting a bar high, you know, a high bar for these guys to follow. You know, you're supposed to be the Jordan of boxing, you know, and this is not something that Jordan would do. Jordan wouldn't be avoiding the best competition. He would be proving that the best competition that's out there is him, and you have to get on his level. And I don't think Keith Thurman, you know, I don't think that Keith Thurman fight is worthy of Errol Spence's legend. What he's been able to accomplish up until this point, I don't think that the Keith Thurman fight is doing anything to further his legacy. It's just another notch on his belt. It's a quick money grab for both sides once again, and it's not good for fans, man. Yeah, you know, PBC, they had an opportunity to turn fans on, you know, and make fans happy, you know, and give them something that they really want to see, you know. Boots scored a victory, and Boots is under Showtime, so you would think that naturally they would be trying to make the Boots fight. And it's a 147 fight. It's a title defense. I understand that the WBC did what they did as far as mandating Keith, but at the same time, why does he deserve that mandate when he's had one fight in 3.5 years, almost 4 years? And he's really been out of the ring for about 5 years, if you count all of his inactivity, you know, since the first time he left. If this ends up being a good fight, if Keith Thurman gives him a real shot, a run for his money, I mean, does that change anything? I don't think so, because at the end of the day, I think Thurman still loses. Unless Thurman wins, there's nothing to gain off of this fight. And if Thurman does win, it causes a whole bunch of more problems for Errol Spence's career. You know, nothing good comes out of this fight, even if Errol Spence KOs Thurman. Still nothing good comes out of it, because everybody's going to say Thurman was past his prime anyway. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that down in the comment section below. Hit that like button for me. Subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. If you want to collabo, hit my Gmail, flockofcards@gmail.com. And we are not here.
Big blocks, big Chevy, big blade, big beat, big E, big money, big blade, big diamonds, big wheels, big rain, big shine, big chain, big gold, big flow, big time.
Hey yo, I take a hit of the weed and contemplate how I'm about to make the whole city congregate. Where I'm from, constant hate is commonplace. See the look upon my face, my ganja's great. KD told me that he was down south and he heard about keys through word of mouth. Now that's the type of shit to let you know I'm on the grind. A lot of niggas like I bet he blow, it's about time. Be patient, I took a vacation and came back with something for the ones that was hating. You still see me blowed at the radio station, but if they don't play it, dog, ain't no complaining shit. I'm still knocking them, ain't no way you're stopping them. Chicks like cars, you with keys, you can hop in them. And you a true bitch, I stay off the brandy like Q Rich, trying to get a few chicks. I got some niggas on my team, and my niggas is me. I got some bitches on my team, and my bitches is me. I got some niggas on the block, they ain't scared of a fight. I got some niggas in the hood, let me know what's good.
Big rim, big blocks, big Chevy,